Pope asks for the courage to negotiate for Ukraine. The director of the Holy See Press Office, Matteo Bruni, responds to journalists regarding Pope Francis' statements in an interview with a Swiss TV station, saying the Pope picked up the image of the white flag, proposed by the interviewer, to indicate a cessation of hostilities, a truce reached with the courage of negotiation. His hope is for a diplomatic solution for a just and lasting peace. With his words on Ukraine, Pope Francis intended to call for a ceasefire and to relaunch the courage of negotiation. Matteo Bruni, the director of the Holy See Press Office, responded to journalists' questions on Saturday evening regarding an interview with Radio Television Suisse, RTS, a portion of which was published earlier in the day. Mr. Bruni explained that the Pope's desire for Ukraine, which he always describes as martyred, was fully expressed in his words at the Angelus on February 25, the day after second anniversary of the outbreak of the war. On that occasion, the Pope reaffirmed his deep affection for the Ukrainian people. He also invited all parties to create the conditions for a diplomatic solution in search of a just and lasting peace. The Pope, specified Mr. Bruni, uses the term white flag, and responds by picking up the image proposed by the interviewer, to indicate a cessation of hostilities, a truce reached with the courage of negotiation. Elsewhere in the interview, speaking of another situation of conflict, but referring to every situation of war, the Pope clearly stated, negotiations are never a surrender. In the interview, the interviewer Lorenzo Bacchella asks the Pope, in Ukraine, some call for the courage of surrender, of the white flag. But others say that this would legitimize the stronger party. What do you think? Pope Francis replied, that is one interpretation. But I believe that the stronger one is the one who sees the situation, who thinks of the people, who has the courage of the white flag, to negotiate. And today, negotiations are possible with the help of international powers. The word negotiate is a courageous word. When you see that you are defeated, that things are not going well, it is necessary to have the courage to negotiate. You may feel ashamed, but with how many deaths will it end? Negotiate in time, look for some country that can mediate. Today, for example in the war in Ukraine, there are many who want to mediate. Turkey has offered itself for this. And others. Do not be ashamed to negotiate before things get worse. Thus, the Pope's words, taken from an image proposed by the interviewer, reiterate, among other things, what has already been stated in these 2 years of continuous appeals and public statements, namely the importance of dialogue against the madness of war and the primary concern for the fate of the civilian population.